It's Thursday, 2nd of January 2025, and in this evening's delayed slightly show, we go over the two most recent festive fixtures where chalk and cheese performances were put in against Birmingham on Sunday and yesterday's shit show at home to Shrewsbury, respectively. We'll also look ahead to another tough match at the weekend as Blackpool travel to league leaders Wycombe Wanderers. And I'm John Aspinall. This is the Seaside's podcast match reaction show. Shows plural. Brum good, Shrews bad. Tradition. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the slightly delayed stream. A few minutes late. I can hear myself echoing back now, which isn't good. Welcome back, Tim. Have you got these gremlins sorted?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
iPad was the trick. I've not tried the other one, so apologies, everybody. The slight delayed start. It's my fault.
I'm just worried that we can hear our voice bouncing back. No, it's all right now. Right, welcome, Andy. How are you doing?
All good. Happy New Year to everyone.
For the benefit of the audio pod, could you describe your Christmas gift?
It's a Blackpool fan having urinating on a Preston shirt.
There's nothing more to say.
Duly bought for me by the knobber's girlfriend.
Tom, any interesting Christmas gifts? Any things?
No, not really. I got one of the retro shirts, one of the blue ones. I think it's from the 90s. So that was nice. So I've got on one of my away trips. But yeah, otherwise, not much to report on the football related front. Trying to keep it all, just trying to focus on other activities at the moment and ignore the fact I'm a Blackpool fan because it's not very entertaining at the moment, is it? As we'll come on to. But we are where we are and the January window is open. So we must look forward.
And surely Tim will be buying loads of players with our chairman chomping at the bit.
Not till after the 6th of January, of course, though, John.
What are the rumours, Tim? Pray tell.
I don't know. I mean, there seems to be a bit of traction with it. I don't know whether there's anything in it or not, whether it's just one of these rumours that circulates and gets regurgitated. But I think it started. And listen, there's always a bit of jesting with what the muckers post, but you know, the muckers sort of had an inkling that there was something going on and put 2 and 2 together and got 5 with my involvement. It's obviously there's a lot of speculation on Twitter and AVFTT today, isn't there? And whether it proves to be well-founded or basically a load of nonsense remains to be seen. But you're not going to get anything out of the club, whatever happens, are you? So I think it's going to be a case of sit back and see what happens. Is the 6th of January keeps getting mentioned? We'll see.
Okay, a few games to catch up on. I'm going to try and get done by the time the darts starts. Been a big fan of this myself, so I'm quite keen to watch it. Don't think you are, Tim, are you? It's a bit lowbrow for you, darts.
No. I'll go and have my tea and catch up on AVFTT. I think when this finishes, I'll give the darts a miss. Big working class.
Catch up on Portillo's great train journeys that you've Sky Plus.
Get some fashion tips for my next sojourn abroad.
Jerry Hayworth, FTT, as it's now known as.
Yes, he has been sort of ubiquitous on there, hasn't he, over recent days? I think he must be a bit too much time on his hands.
To be fair, if I knew what ubiquitous meant, that would be all right.
Everywhere.
Thank you.
Not a chance we'll be buying any players, says Forza. Welcome. And Bison says total nonsense. So a swing of opinions. But, all remains to be seen. Right, let's catch up on Birmingham City versus Blackpool, which you forget what day it is. What day is it today? It's Thursday. So this was on Sunday, wasn't it? Didn't go there with any expectations whatsoever, but we put in a credible performance, Andy. Tyra keeping us in it from the off with a bit of a. I'm going
Great
to Tim.
save.
We'll have to mute your mic while we're talking, so we can hear it bouncing back. Try and get headphones on if you can. Yeah, Andy, if you cast your mind back to the game, Harry Tyra pulling off a great save. When was it, like 15, 20 minutes in? We
Really
set the
good
tone
save.
there. But the first half, generally, we played very well, and I think we were the better team.
I think Birmingham fans, the moderate Birmingham fans that don't look at it so one-eyed, pretty much said we were the best team to go there this year, which is great. I think we set up as we do, really, and I think when teams come out to play against us, gives us a bit of space, and as soon as we can get in amongst, get our midfield on the ball, and we've got space running in behind, we're okay. So Tyra seems to split opinions a little bit. A lot of people seem to think we need a new goalkeeper, but he's done okay recently, in my opinion. Certainly better now the back four's settled, and I think we've seen a better version of him than the one with no confidence earlier on this season.
Tom, over to you. I don't think we've actually had your opinions on Ash Fletcher yet. He was on the end of that punt all the way down the field again from Tyra as route one as you're going to get. Defender sort of made a bit of a hash of his headed clearance and it ends up at Ash Fletcher's feet. Got his shot away, just tipped around by the keeper. Was it a bad miss or a good save by the keeper?
You never know, do you, with Fletcher? He's one of them who makes easy things look hard and reasonably difficult things look quite easy. So I can never actually work out. There's nothing to compare him to sometimes, is there? So I can't work out if he's a good footballer or not. Overall, I don't think he's enough. I don't think he's going to help us get up the league table. So I wouldn't have him anywhere near the first team. But the last couple of games, he has been doing more than you see. Maybe we've seen from Rhodes in the last 12 months, probably since he slowed down in January last year. And then you look at your other options. You've got Jake Beasley, who's hopefully one that's going to be near the exit door if we're looking to clear a few out in January as well. So we need a partner for Kyle Joseph, and he seems to be at the moment the best choice for it. And he scored a couple of goals, hasn't he? So you just got to hope that he goes in a bit of a run. We needed one to go in off his arse or something, and fortunately that's happened. So he's scored 2, has he now, in the last 3 games, I think. So yeah, could be a lot worse, but I'm hoping that we won't be relying on him for the next 23 games to kickstart the season. Obviously, the only other option that I've not mentioned being Don Balad, but he's slowed down, hasn't he, since the injury. So a bit of a Shane Lavery situation where you get injured and you come back and you just need that first goal. So he's an option, but yeah, I don't think he's the right partner for Joseph. So we persist with Fletcher for now.
Tim, we persist with Fletcher for now. I think that's quite a good analysis.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So first sums up our striking options quite well, I think.
I mean, pity with Balad, because I think Balad started quite well, didn't he, at the early parts of the season? And there's a bit of a school of thought that when CJ's in the team, that he's the type of forward, the number 10 role, the match CJ, but I don't know. He's just. I think Tom sort of sums it up there really a bit. I think he just seems to be a little bit off the pace. I actually think not particularly Birmingham, but I think over the Christmas period, I think Joseph's been off the pace a little bit as well. It's not been quite the cavalier centre forward that we saw probably a month ago. So. Against Birmingham, I did think that both him and Fletcher would manage to get between their 2 centre-backs really, really well. And, on another day, I know that some people, in fact, our podcast said during the match was, God, it was so negative. No, it wasn't. I was on ABFTT. That was where it was really negative. And I thought, actually, we're playing well here. We're at the league leaders, and we're giving them a game. And we're more than giving them a game. I think if you look back at the goal chances, we were the better team. They had more possession. I'm not sure it's like when we've had possession at home under Critchley, possession doesn't mean anything if you don't do anything with it. And I thought we looked by far and away. We looked a good side, and we looked like we had a bit about us. And it seems this season, doesn't it, that we seem to reserve our better performances for away from home than we do at home, and Birmingham was a classic example of that.
On to the second half then, Andy. It's come to you. Although first half, I'm just looking down at the stats. Our XG was 7 to their 0.18. We've had 2 big chances missed there, 0. So I think we should have been ahead at half time. Second half, Cal Joseph, as Tim's mentioned, I think he is in a bit of a dip form wise at the moment, but he's hit the post. If you can cast your mind back, with a little interchange between Evans and was it Albie Morgan? Bad miss or unlucky? It was a tight angle, wasn't it?
It was really tight, and he's hit the inside of the post. It's just bounced out, and like you're talking about, really small margins there between it hitting the inside of the post and going in. I mean, it must be like millimeters. The difference between where that would have hit on the post and gone in against what happened. Felt sorry for him, really. I'm not sure Fletcher's the best. Doesn't bring the best out of Joseph. I think Ballad's a better partner for him. The difference for me has been Balad played really, really well when CJ was playing. And without CJ, Balad can't drop back into the pocket and pick the ball up and then feed CJ in and then get back in the box himself. It just doesn't work. And so he's without that pace on the left, I don't think we've been working well for Balad, to be honest. And that's how I see it. But when we're with Fletcher and Joseph, I just think they're just big lads. I'm not sure if they don't make the same run sometimes, and Joseph just doesn't seem the same player. He was all over the place when Balad was playing. I mean, that game at Huddersfield, I keep going back to where I think we played so well there. Balad and Joseph were fantastic, but they had Apter and CJ as outlets. Joseph, you can't dispute Joseph's honesty and how hard he runs, and he chases everything, doesn't he? But it's just not falling for him. And I wish that chance had gone in at Birmingham. It would have given him such a confidence boost. But it wasn't to be.
Okay. Go on, Tom. Yeah.
I was going to say it's a tricky one with Joseph, isn't it? Because he relies on service and he's not been getting the service at all. So I do feel sorry for him, and he works his balls off. But he's missed a couple of chances. He's missed those key ones where he had the header. Was it against Wrexham? And he's put it over, I think. And then Birmingham, it went out for a throw-in. He hits the post. He's hitting keeper's hands. He's a bit unlucky, but he's missing big chances that are costing us points. And we're at that point in the season now where it's now or never, really, with our dare I even still talk about a potential run to the playoffs. We're 10 off now. So we're drawing games. We're losing games we should be drawing, and we're drawing games we should be winning, and we need someone to step up at key moments. And unfortunately, it's just not happened for Kyle Joseph. Whether you blame that on, the team around him, which I think initially led to his drop in form, but he needs to take those chances when they come along, and he's not doing that at the moment.
Let's just dip into the comments. We've got some good shouts coming in. Tim, let you address them. Mitch just said there, Joseph and Fletcher are very similar. Andy's made a good point on a CJ and Balad relationship. And if you look to Joseph Smith's comments then, recall Kouassi, he's a handful. He's got to be a shout for an option, hasn't he, compared to what we've got up there at the moment?
I think we haven't got options. That's the problem, isn't it? And I think I've seen that comment about CJ and Ballad's relationship before, and sometimes you wonder whether it's just the fact that we were playing well during that period, or whether they were the conduits for it. Most certainly the Huddersfield away game and Charlton away, were superb attacking performances, and Balad and CJ were probably two of our best players. So I think we've got to see whether that can work, haven't we? And obviously we saw a little bit of it in on yesterday, but I think the jury's out based on that. But it's only 25, 30 minutes of football when both have been out and not really sort of cemented down a full 90 minutes for quite a long period of time. So I'd like to see that. Kouassi, I always like Kouassi as a plan B, not as a plan A. I think he's the type of player you can bring off the bench who might actually make a bit of difference. And
I think he adds a bit more though, Tim, to what Rhodes and Beasley.
Well, he does. He's different.
And
he's different.
Fletcher, he's more powerful, isn't he? And I'm sure he can hold the ball a bit better than the rest of them.
I don't know how he's been getting on at Salford.
He's injured.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? All right, don't recall him then.
And Salford are on a proper run. He was injured, and it sounded like quite bad. But I'm just going to try and nip into their team for last weekend because they're on a good run at the minute.
Have you seen who else is in a good run? Richie Wellens, Leighton Orient, flying.
They've won about 5 and drawn 1, haven't they, out the last 6? It's frustrating, isn't it? Because when even Rex, I mean, what we saw of Wrexham away. I know we've already spoken about it, so I don't want to go back on that too much. But we didn't see a lot of the game because of the fog. But we did actually play quite well in phases. And Birmingham, we played quite well, and then we come to the home game, and which we're going to talk about. I mean, it goes off again, and you're looking for the players to show a bit of consistency, and it just doesn't seem to be happening in the way that we need it to. And whether that's down to their abilities, I don't think it's down to man management or game management by Bruce, to be fair. But he went to Birmingham, clearly wanted to win the game, and I think on another day we would, wouldn't we? I mean, you've spoken about Joseph's chance, and that was probably the pick of the bunch, but it wasn't the only one by any stretch of the imagination. And I think if we'd won 2-0 or 2-1, I don't think the Birmingham fans could really have had too many complaints.
Let's talk Dom Balad then. Graham Butterworth just said he's not ready for League One. Waste of a signing. This was a conversation I was hearing quite a lot in the North Stand on Saturday. I think quite a few people are losing the patience with Balad. Is it time to send him back? Has it worked for Blackpool?
I wouldn't say so. I don't think he's part of the problem. I think we need better options. So I agree we need to strengthen in this window, but I'd be taking action other than sending him back. I mean, it's probably 1 in, 1 out, isn't it? And obviously Embleton's gone out today, which we might come on to. So that gives us an option to bring in a wide player, you would think. The keeper situation's another where we've got a loan and we can get, let them recall in mid-month and we can bring one in without too much shuffle, whereas you're looking to sell someone like Beasley, in which case you need a buyer. So I get that that's a bit more complicated. So Ballard's a quick one where we can get rid of him in favour of something better. Has he scored once this season, I think, in 18 games?
One goal, 0 assists, 18 games played, 10 starts.
So he did start well. I think him and Joseph were electric in that Cambridge away game when we scored 4, and a couple of the others early on where I was really excited by him. So I think he's still got something to say maybe, but he's getting thrown out on the left-hand side now, due to squad options. We haven't got many of them. So, if we have to get rid of one, then he's one nearer the door just based on circumstance. But I think there's others deserving of the exit door based on performance.
Anyone else got anything to say on Balad?
I think Tom makes some valid points. I think jury's out, and what we actually need is probably we need a finisher, don't we? More than anything else, we thought we had one with Rhodes, but the reality is, for a variety of reasons, it's not happening for him this season. A couple of chances it's frustrating because you can see he still wants to do it, and he's keen to do it, and he's been a bit unlucky with a couple, but we need someone who's going to bang the ball in the net on a regular basis, and the reality is, bar Joseph's slight purple patch earlier on in the season, we haven't got anybody who can do it, and and the stats don't lie, do they? If you're a forward player and you've got 1 goal out of 18, I think the no assist is slight. I think he's been involved in a lot of moves that have led to goals in the first sort of halcyon days of Steve Bruce's joining the club, but it's slim pickings, really, isn't it? And at the end of the day, the stats don't lie over the 18 games, do they?
I think we because we haven't got a prolific 9 or a prolific centre forward, then we're looking for goals all over the pitch, and then Evans doesn't provide hardly any. Morgan provides hardly any. Apter provides not many. CJ not so many. But so we just looking. Our centre halves don't score from corners. So we just don't find enough goals from wherever in the team. So that's something he's got to address. So I'm sure, don't need us to tell him, does it? He knows himself, and he was just frustrated as anybody yesterday, I think.
Just generally then, the Birmingham game, how can we go from such a brilliant away performance there, where we were the better team, we created the best chances, you couldn't tell they were the top of the league and we were meandering mid-table. How can we go from that to what we saw on Saturday? So because
we can deal with their setup, John, but we can't deal with the low block.
Steve Bruce said it was 5-4 in a lone front man against Shrewsbury. So we'll move on to that.
Yeah, but they said, didn't he? Let's face it. At the start of the game, they weren't exactly just sitting back, were they? Giving us the ball, and although we had a lot of possession, they still managed to get forward. They were still trying to get a goal. But
I think they had the best 2 chances in the first half, if I recall right.
They did. That Bloxham and the other guy, I can't remember.
That Bloxham looked a threat all first half, didn't he?
I was speaking to someone, I think he was at Morecambe originally. Apparently, chap I was speaking to thought he played in the friendly that we had up against Morecambe about 3 or 4 years ago when he was 18, and he looked a decent player then. But these players are about, if you've got the right systems in place that can actually analyse who's out there, they are knocking around at different clubs. But we seem to, our modus operandi seems to be get somebody in who we know, but has been injured a lot and therefore doesn't command a fee, and hope it works. Well, the reality is it rarely does, or our experience is it rarely does. Sometimes we pick up a gem, but more often than not, we end up with the likes of Embleton and Baygot and the like, who just don't give good value for money, do they? Because they're not playing often enough to do that. Even though Baygot looks a great player, even though that maybe Embleton was worth a punt, but the reality is that they've been injured a lot, and players that get injured a lot tend to get injured a lot again. It seems to be in the makeup a lot of the time.
Stephen Southworth says we can't handle the mental side of having to take a game to the opponent at home. It's a psychological block. IMO. A lot of truth in that comment, gents. Last win at home was it home September time, Tom?
Yeah, I think that's what the feeling is in the stands as well, and people watching at home. I don't believe we're going to score when we're going forward, and therefore I don't think the players truly do either. I don't know if they're fully believing in the quality in the squad, the system of currently playing. It's just crying out for some movement in January. The last couple of seasons have been the same. It's been disappointing on it for it feels like a long time since Critchley walked out the door first time. It's just been misery for 3 years now. So it's what's the famous saying? Piss or get off the pot. for Simon Sadler, I think, a little bit at this point. It's getting to that point in the relationship or the ownership where this question's been asked. Probably in my mind, 18 months ago, questions were getting asked, and I was still fully on board, thinking there's no signs that he's slowing down with his investment. We're still going in the right direction. There was excuses as to why it had fallen apart in the Championship, and he didn't make the right appointment. But we all do that every now and again. We all make mistakes, but it's now starting to look like negative trajectory, negative trends, and there's only one way to turn that around, and that's by solid recruitment. David Downs has had 12 months now since the summer, but this is his main window to really prove himself and show that he's been doing something for the last few months, preparing for this window, knowing that he's working with Steve Bruce since he came in, which was after the window shut. So Bruce and Downs have been preparing for that since they walked through the door, or at least Bruce did. So the window's open. It's down to that. And I said from the start, we need to be in touching distance of the playoffs, no more than 10 points, or the season was done. Well, we're 10 points off now after yesterday. We don't want to get any further behind than that. It needs to be pretty much automatic promotion form from here on out, starting with the next game, which is away against top of the league, which is, feels tough, but we tend to do better against better opposition, don't we? We know how to play against them. So I'm excited to see what we can do there. But ultimately, we've got to have not an overhaul, but I'd say 4 or 5 who are ready to go in and impact the first team. And then all of a sudden, confidence comes back. You show a bit of quality, you get a bit of luck in front of goal, and suddenly Joseph's firing again. CJ's back, fit. He's an option. He's not to everyone's taste, but he showed what he can do, both good and bad, yesterday. But you can't be relying on Rob Apter every week to go and break down the opponents, because he's in his first full season at this level. So we'll get in. We'll back him, but you need options. And when he's run his backside off for an hour, you want an option from the bench, and we've just not had that so far. So hopefully we can kickstart that. So I've maybe not answered your initial question, but I've gone on a bit of a rant. But I think ultimately our season is hinging now on getting some quality in the door. And I've got everything crossed, as we all have, for that to happen in the next week or two.
History doesn't really dictate that we are going to have a good January window, as Tom alluded to there. Andy, when did we ever have a good January? I really cannot remember.
It wasn't that long ago, John. I mean, you think about just before COVID. I know the season curtailed, but we got Shrewsbury Hall in, we got Ronan in, got a couple of other players in as well. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but it was quite an exciting window. That's probably the last one, I would say.
Was that the same one when we signed Medine and Husband signed permanent, wasn't it? And
I think it was, yeah. No doubt Mitchell confirm in the comments that he's got an encyclopedic knowledge of Medine's career.
We have to get some. We have to get another wide player. So as Tom alluded to about, you have to give Apter a rest at times, and now he's having to play every minute of every game almost, as it is. So that's definitely something we've got to do. Missing CJ and being without another wide man has just been criminal, and Bruce knows that. The other things were, he's getting someone to put it in the net, and can we find a goal scoring midfielder? And this all costs money. I just don't see that there's going to be money around. That it's just going to have to come from a young loanee coming in. If we can get a Shrewsbury Hall type character from somewhere, that sort of player who has the impact that he had, then brilliant. But I'm sure there's a lot of clubs looking for that as well.
Tim, Rob Apter's name popping up several times in this conversation. He was integral to a lot of our attacking plays in that second half. He's floated him on in for Jimmy Husband. Jimmy's just got on the end of it. Keeper's made a decent save. And not really much happened in attacking sense from Blackpool until Steve Bruce, I think, read the room, read the mood in the stadium, and made sort of a pretty unprecedented quadruple substitution on 60 minutes. And fair play to Steve for doing that, because there was a huge general malaise in the stadium and also in our attacking play up to that point.
I personally think he may have made one too many. I think I'd have been tempted to leave Joseph on with either Rhodes or Ballard, but you can't fault him for, as you say, realizing that. I mean, it was insipid stuff, wasn't it? Up until that point,
it was just like Critchley all over again, wasn't it? Eddie was. I always gauge how good a game is by how many times Eddie says he's bored, and it was constant. That game said he wants to go home, and
there's no. There was the atmosphere was poor, and I'll be, you end up looking at your phone, don't you? Because there's nothing happening.
I was watching the darts on Sky Go.
Yeah, and I was booking my car out for a holiday. That was not until September. Thinking that's how I was bored shitless. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
and a lot of people were around me as well, and then it's weird. I saw a picture from the Thames, which I think it was when we went down to Fulham, and I think it was the Muckers boat that was being shown, and somebody was saying, I think it was in the podcast group, wasn't it? This morning, how different,
weren't we? Yeah.
How different it all feels than what was it 3 years ago? And we went
with toe to toe with Fulham that day. A brilliant Fulham side.
Yeah, and the support that came from the stands was incredible, and it just seems to have tapered off. And listen, that's not fans' fault. You can't make the old silk purse out of a sow's ear, can you? And the way that we're playing just doesn't. When we scored, and in the, without jumping ahead too much, and then we were we had a sort of little 5-minute spell. The atmosphere in the ground just changed. And I know when I've watched back, there was it was quite noisy when we scored the goal, but you can't keep that up when you're just watching repetitive. Bison's has said about aimless balls, and a lot of aimless balls, and there was almost like a Critchley styled square passing going on, which was incredibly frustrating to watch. You knew it was just going to go sideways again, and you're thinking, where's you want someone like Dembele or Morgan's capable of it. Somebody's going to drive the ball forward, and Apter probably is one who and I know it's his stock of trade, isn't it? Anyway, being on the wing, but he will run at a player, and fair play that he ended up with man of the match yesterday, because but it was he didn't have a lot of competition, did he?
He's the only player prepared to carry the ball in that side. No, I think you've touched on the atmosphere dropping, Tim, but I think that was because the style of play. We had a 5-minute spell after we'd scored, but then it was just playing deep. We dropped deep. We were playing a lot of square passes. It's interesting. Does this come from the manager, or does this come from players just being nervous?
You see, Evans and Morgan were at one stage both well inside our half, trying to orchestrate forward movements from inside our own half, and they were both dropping back like they were quarterbacks in American football. And it can't be both of them. The both can't drop to make that happen. One of them's got to be influencing, just behind the forwards. But as soon as they play the ball forward, they're nowhere. They're nowhere. If they play it back, even if the forward holds it, it's not them that is playing it back. They're not there to play it back to. And it just all seemed very monotonous yesterday, and the play looked monotonous. The players were. I just don't put this down to not trying. It's not trying. It's the fact that there wasn't enough energy within them, and and like you say, Yap to carries the ball, right? Those two midfield players, neither of those two were carrying the ball yesterday.
Surely this is something Steve Bruce has to look at and change on the pitch during the game. But is it the players or is it the manager?
The excuse Bruce has got though till now, and he can't. Yeah, I agree. It's a tactical thing, but he's working with someone else's squad, isn't he? Ultimately, so left wing. Who've we tried this season? We've had Coulson there. We've had Ballard, yeah, Embleton,
Carey,
CJ when he was fit, and Carey.
Carey on Saturday, yeah.
So it's a problem position. He's trying his best to work out who can play there. Ultimately, if we haven't got CJ there, none of them can because we've only got two wingers. So we're obviously going to bring one in. Embleton's gone out this morning, which means there's a spot free. It would surprise me if we don't bring one in before the weekend or very early next week. I think we'll have one in mind to let one go, to be honest. So let's see who we bring in, and it's got to be of good quality. That's the one thing I would say about Bruce. But it's slightly concerning how susceptible we've left ourselves to this window, isn't it? Because we know that the murmurings that we do hear from the club are that there's a lot of money being put in already, and there's not that much more to throw at this. But we're going backwards now, so you need to either spend and bring people in, and obviously it comes to selling players as well. You need to be able to sell players on for a profit, of which there aren't too many left in the squad, given Grimshaw obviously departed on deadline day. He was probably the last one. So it's now suddenly becoming a problem where we have to spend and hope that it's last chance saloon really, with nothing more to try and sort of churn out for profit. So yeah, we're in a tricky spot, but yeah, the answers are there for us all. We all know what the answers are. It needs a turnaround for Bruce to be back, doesn't it? That's where all the fingers point to.
Mm-hmm.
If Casey continues his form, then he's got a chance of being.
He's been superb.
Sold for money. Yeah. He's been absolutely brilliant recently. The other thing for me with Carey yesterday, I can understand him playing Carey, trying to get another goal scorer, another man who can get a shot away, and rather than Coulson. But it was so obvious he didn't know how to play the position that he was put in yesterday. He just did not know how to play the position. And they were looking for him several times, and he was just in the wrong position. And it's not his fault. It's not his position, is it? But
Carey.
Carey.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I said Casey.
Yeah. No, Carey. Carey just didn't know the position he was asked to play yesterday, and it showed. He just was in the wrong position so many times. But the good side of it is that that Casey and Pennington look pretty good together. The back four looks fairly settled. O'Fire looks good. I like O'Fire coming forward as well. I think he's a threat.
What can I ask Andy on that? I've been wondering this O'Fire thing. He started at centre back, didn't he, and looked great coming out, and now he's at right back, and we've got Gabriel sat on the bench. Would you be tempted to put him back inside for Pennington and try Gabriel to have a bit more of an option down the right, or do you think we'd lose what O'Fire brings to that side?
I just think Gabriel had lost his form. He just didn't seem the same player he was when he pushed forward. He didn't have the same impact. When he was defending, he was making mistakes. So he just lost his form, and you'll only see from training there whether he's sort of got his mojo back or not. And that'll be down to the manager, really.
And there's Lyons as well, and that's come back. So we do have options at least at right back, but we need to find some players to play in front of them.
We do, definitely.
Tim, players that play in front of them. CJ, he's a bit of a Marnak character with yourself. So let's talk CJ. Went from hero to zero in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, talk about an impact when he came on. I think it was Evans who did the long diagonal to him. It was whoever it was a fantastic ball. and he was decisive. The ball was, I think, right down the line, wasn't it, towards the corner flag, and he cut it back beautifully into Apta's path, and Apta probably for the first, not I'm talking about Apta particularly, but of all our players up to that point yesterday had ballooned every shot over, haven't they? You know, they got the foot right under the ball, whatever it might be, but Apta hit it crisply and really gave the keeper no chance at all. And you know, it was an incredible reaction to the four subs, wasn't it? I think it was literally, was it 2, 3, 4 minutes after the substitutions were made as well. It might even have been CJ's first proper touch. And we thought, bloody hell, he's back, and he is as important to us as we were all talking. And it went a bit downhill from there. I remember at one point where somebody put the ball across and he's shielding it out for a corner when it'd come off our man. It was bloody obvious it come off our man, and he's just a bit dopey sometimes. And I don't think it was his fault over their goal. I think there was I don't know. Obviously I'm in the north, and
bit of a litany of errors, I'd say.
A little bit like that.
He was involved.
I like that.
Oh, go on, shall I give myself a...
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, I think he deserved that. It looked like Coulson had asked the ball to be played through to him, but then something happened, whether he slipped or whether he just didn't move, I don't know. And so we end up with CJ giving the ball away, and Coulson's out of position then, and you know, perhaps where Jimmy wouldn't have been as much, and they go through on the right and slot the ball home, and for me, from that point onwards, if any team was going to win that game, it was going to be Shrewsbury and not us. I think they had at least one other decent chance, and I could just see them getting a winner, and I ended up feeling quite relieved that didn't happen. So it was incredibly, because it looked like we'd got that little bit of momentum. Rhodes had put one over, and the cross had come across, and Rhodes had just gone just over the bar. And to be fair, I don't think it was a particularly clear. I don't know. I might be being too kind to him, but it didn't look like a particularly clear-cut chance. It was a bit of a snatch header. But we looked like we were going to go on and win 2 or 3-0, but only for 5 or 10 minutes period. And after that, it was just dreadful. And CJ I don't think he was any worse than anybody else, to be fair. But it was just, I think Andy's right. I think with 2 central midfielders, we're at home against bottom of the league, and they're both sitting trying to protect a 1-0 lead. And it just plays into their hands. And they actually had a couple of decent players, I thought, you know, who were capable of, on both wings, and who were capable of causing damage. And, you know, to be fair to them, they beat Birmingham, didn't they? Gareth Ainsworth's first game, and you know, so they're clearly capable of putting a performance in. And if I was them, I'd be slightly disappointed they didn't nick all 3 points, just like we were at Birmingham. I think it was a sort of same vibe. And I got to the end of the game thinking I was wasted New Year's Day watching this, which isn't what it should be about, is it?
Boos at the end, Andy, from not the whole crowd, but I'd say a good 50% very disgruntled Blackpool fans walking out.
Yeah, not
at the end.
Not from me, but
perfectly justified.
I've been known to have a. Yeah, I've been known to have a boo if I think it's the right thing to do. I don't think that I'm more likely to boo if I think it's a bit of a lack of effort, to be honest. But yesterday it was just lack of quality, and people were just frustrated. I think generally frustrated. We played really well at Wrexham first half. Yeah, they came at us second half, but they've been sent out with a kick up the backside. So, they've got a right to play well as well. So I don't think we'd done too bad at Wrexham. We certainly should have took a point. Birmingham, we played well. Probably should have had 3. And then the expectations of the fans come. And when you're playing at home, you've just drawn at home to Stevenage 0-0. Like, I think the fans they just want more, don't they? And I think it's just a frustration boo more than anything else.
Yeah, that's a decent shout. Frustration, yeah.
But equally, the manager's frustrated as well. You know, the manager's in his post-match was coming out saying the same things as we were saying in the pub, probably.
We've had two very winnable home games, haven't we, against Stevenage and Shrewsbury, and then we've performed in the two more difficult ones, and not the two where you'd expect picking up the points. And I think Andy's right. That's where the frustration lies, because if we had those extra 4 points, as Tom said, we're in touching distance of the playoffs, aren't we? We're literally hanging on by the skin of our teeth, being 10 points behind to suggest we could make a run of it. But when you're just outside, sometimes if somebody comes in on the back straight, don't they? And if we'd be quite happy, wouldn't we, if we'd got those 6 points at home and then made a decent fist of it at Wrexham and Birmingham as we did, then we'd all be sat here slightly more happy about the scenario. And the reality is, we're not scoring goals. We're not scoring goals. We're not creating clear-cut chances at home. And it's almost like, I'm not saying I'd want this, but it's almost like you wish you could have Critchley's approach to home games and Bruce's approach to away games combined. We might actually have a promotion winning side, because Critchley, even though it wasn't particularly exciting, seemed to be able to grind out a few home results and then massively struggled away. And at the moment, at least, Bruce is struggling to get the right formula. But I think we all know that he's the man to do the job. He just hasn't got the tools at the moment.
It was just the home wins under Critchley last year weren't pretty, were they? They weren't.
No, they weren't, Andy. I'm just saying, but at least if you look
functional,
statistically, we were getting points.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
And when we don't seem to be able to get those. I mean, listen, it's over 3 months now since we won at home. I mean, that's a long time.
The only thing that's going to save us then is the January transfer window. We have touched on this naturally in the conversation. Who do we want out?
Easy to say you want in.
Yeah, there's a few questions about some of them in the squad, isn't there? We don't know if Elkan Baygot is going to be coming back, if that's how you pronounce his name. So he's one that you'd have a question mark over if you're going to terminate him, or his deal, should I say. Josh Onama's contract is up next week, is it? So we'll have to make a decision on whether we're extending that. And then you've got, who I was just looking at the squad earlier, there's a couple that I forgot we actually even had on the side. Zach Ashworth is one who I was really excited about in the summer. I think, is he injured or is he just disappeared?
On the bench.
And then you've also got Finnegan as well, who came in and did all right, and I think he's been injured as well, hasn't he? But a decision to be made on if he truly improves our starting 11. So they'd be a couple, and then we've talked about the striking options. You got Beasley. I think his time's up, to be honest. He's had plenty of opportunities, and then Dom Thompson, who if we'd get rid of at the drop of a hat, I'm sure if anyone was interested, but I don't think there's going to be a queue for him.
We're prepared to take 500,000 as much as it. Sorry, we're prepared to give them 500,000.
I think the trouble with Thompson is we paid money for him, didn't we? So Sadler's going to be sat there thinking of that 200 grand he spent with Brentford, and he'll want to recoup that. That's just human nature. You want back what you've spent, and I think, we'll struggle to get that, I would say.
Sadler's still got to be smarting from the Joe Nuttall transfer fee. What was it? It was reported to be around 700 grand for him, wasn't it?
Yeah. We've not got a great strike rate when we've paid money for players, have we? Really?
Appleton was very, very, very confident that he was the man, which should tell you everything about Appleton.
Realistically, then, are we going to be signing players for cash, or is it just going to be reliance on Premier League loanees or other high quality loanees? I would wager the former.
We're not going to be paying without being sold. I don't. If the rumours are correct and we've been sold, then I would say we've got a chance of buying a few players for a bit of money. But if we've not been sold, then no chance. I think we just have to wheel and deal with what we've got. And, however, as someone alluded to earlier on, what was the point of getting Steve Bruce in if you're not going to back Steve Bruce? So, I'd be more inclined to trust Bruce to spend the money than I would some of the guys we've had before.
Thoughts, Tim?
You do wonder what I mean. There must have been a conversation about the January transfer window before Bruce committed to joining, and you would think, wouldn't you, because he would know that he would want to put his stamp on the team, and so I can't imagine him being shy at coming forward in that department, and maybe he's been able to secure a commitment. But I'll be honest. I mean, obviously we don't know about the sale bit. I mean, it could be complete rubbish for what we know. But I just can't see us spending a lot of money this transfer window under the current regime. And I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Because the flip side is, you must think that Bruce has sort of demanded that a certain amount of kitty be put aside to allow him to bring in the players that suit the style of play that he wants. Because he's a very experienced manager. He would know that team was lopsided from the point of view of how he wants to play football. He'd have known that from the start. So, I mean, I'm actually sat here thinking I genuinely don't. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't, whether, but with the change of ownership, I think you're going to see a bit of cash spent. But I don't know whether that's happening. I genuinely, I know the muckers put my name out there, but I know no more than anybody else. I mean, you just see these rumours, and that's it. But I think, why is Bruce? If Bruce is here, he's got to think that he's going to be given a decent fist at trying to sort things out. And we're going to see, aren't we? We're going to see. But I have a funny feeling we might just see loans and a bit of dealing going on with players who might need to get out there and play a bit of football. But we've got about 6 we need to get rid of realistically to bring 6 in, because I would be with Simon. You can't. He's got to balance. Well, try to at least have a go at balancing the books, or at least keeping the lid on the budget. And Embleton will have been on big money. I bet Thompson's on big money. And there's probably a few in there that we might even be surprised by how much money they're on. Obviously Rhodes is on serious dough, and he's just he's not firing on all cylinders, is he? So yeah, there's a lot of money being spent on wages, that's for certain, and we're not getting a return on that at the moment based on where we are in the league. Because I bet we're top 10 wage budget, and we're 15th at the moment. I mean, Shrewsbury's wage budget I wouldn't be surprised it's half of ours. So, but we're not competing with the Wrexhams and the Birminghams. But I don't think we're the paupers of the league when it comes to paying wages either. I think the problem comes from the choice of the type of player that we're signing and the demographic. We've spoken about how many pods we've spoken about the demographic of the people we sign who are crocs, who are an accident waiting to happen, and that mindset needs to change.
Right, let's move on to Wycombe before we go. Wycombe on Saturday, and so I'll share this with the room. Something you might find quite interesting here. This the League One table, based on XG, which is high quality chances or chances created in the games. We're actually 8th. In that league table. Wycombe are 4th, which tends to suggest that we've been not unlucky in front of goal, but we've just not been finishing the good chances that we have been creating. So maybe that's a bit of positivity we can go take into to Wycombe, and also I was looking at the home and away form. They are actually 6th in the home form table, and we are 5th in the form table for away performances. So, given the results we've had on performances at Wrexham and Birmingham, we should be going to this game with confidence of maybe upsetting the apple cart. What does everyone think?
I'm looking forward to it. I think, without a shadow of a doubt, our best performances have been away from home. We've probably got 5 or 6 of our best performances of the season have all been away from home. And I think we've got the ability to go there and have a go at them. And I hope we go out with the same mindset as we did for the 2 away games, as Andy was speaking about just before, and that we have a right go and hopefully come home with 3 points, because we need them. We go there and don't do well and don't win the next couple of games, and we'll be looking at the wrong end of the table. So we want to be looking up, and we want to turn around the home form. But in the meantime, we need the away results to prop us up a little bit, and it'd be fantastic if we could go there and come away with 3 points for me. And I think we've got the ability to do it. Just rinse and repeat Birmingham in particular. Approach the game that way, and I think we've got a good shout.
Be just like us, wouldn't it, to go and win at Wycombe and then draw 0-0 with Cambridge the following week? That'd be at home. That would be just us all over. Just sum up the season, I think.
Any more thoughts on the Wycombe game?
Like Tim says, we need something from it, don't we? We've left ourselves. I said at the start of Christmas, we need to beat one of Birmingham, Wrexham, and Wycombe away, and also ideally win our home games, which we haven't done. So we've left ourselves with it all to do on this game. Otherwise, it's been a horrendous Christmas, hasn't it? In terms of the form and fixtures and points, should have got more out of every single game that we've played. So I guess you could look positively at that and say we deserved more, but some of it wasn't on the performance. It was just on the expectation going into it, and we've not backed it up with the quality. So you go there, you probably think it's most of the season, you think it's a free hit, top of the league away from home, don't you? And you're excited thinking, we could get something with the underdogs, even though it's only Wycombe in terms of, the club size. But we've got massive pressure on ourselves now by the fact that we've slipped up so many times already. And I don't think we've got a great record going to Wycombe either. I remember the last couple of times we've been there, I think we've been battered, haven't we? I seem to remember, was it a 2 or a 3-0 on a Tuesday night last time we went there? The time before that, I think we got beat as well. So, and to add to that, the pantomime villain Besla Barla will be there as well. He'll probably score, so we'll have to score twice to get 3 points.
And we have to finally apologise to Mitch, because the rumours that emanated around this afternoon that we've offered $250,000 to Hartlepool for the goal machine, as Hartlepool have rejected it.
Bring the goal machine home. Make Blackpool great again. Let's pick the team then before we go.
Very quick, because the darts is on.
Yeah. You sounded like Nick, Andy.
I've just very quickly, the last time we won at Wycombe was in January 2004, just in case anybody was interested.
Wow.
Brett Ormer broke his leg there as well, didn't he? There we go. The Nick Smith 1 hour clock alarm has rung. There is insufficient time to make a deal with Carlos. Right, very quickly.
If anyone has got a knife, the football club are looking for one to open the fax machine box.
Right, let's do the back four. How's about we go a bit more attacking and put Gabriel at right back and replace Pennington with a Fire in the back, the 2 central half positions. And my rationale is I don't think Pennington's that good coming out with the ball, and distribution's poor as well.
Yeah,
Just throwing that out there.
I'm backing you there.
Well, if we're going to shake it up a little bit, then I think that's where you do it. I think personally, I'm worried about Gabriel at the moment, but equally, I do like a fire playing in the centre of the defence, and I think we miss him when he's not there.
I think the other option for that is Coulson on the left, in it, instead of Husband, and having a bit more attacking on that side. But if CJ's coming in, then that's too much of a risk, as shown by Shrewsbury's goal at the weekend or yesterday.
Yeah. Is CJ coming back in though? I sort of liked Coulson on the left, but not naturally a left winger, is he? Should we go with this then to shake it up then? A fire, Casey. Come on, Jordan. Do us proud. He's got the potential to overlap with Apter on the right as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. If he can't get in this team, then I'll be it surprises me how badly I don't remember him doing anything particularly badly. I've not been to as many games maybe as most, but yeah, I do like Gabriel, and I remember being at the Stevenage game, and he got the biggest noise around that. Obviously, it finished 0-0. Was when he started warming up. The crowd are right on him and cheering him, warming up, and everything. So he'd get the crowd on side. So he deserves a shot for me. But I'll be shocked if he doesn't get in.
Obviously, Apter on the right. I don't think Evans and Morgan can be shifted at all in the middle. Morgan's been playing really well this season.
They're better away than they are at home. Simple.
Coulson or CJ then?
CJ.
Yeah, I would go CJ.
Tim?
Yeah, just about, I would say. It did worry me the way he played after his opening bit, but we're away from home. I think his pace could be quite important.
I think if CJ's playing, we have to play Jimmy in there to mop up after him. Right, centre forwards.
And if CJ's playing, then I'd play Balad and Joseph.
Yeah, I think Fletcher's not done enough, has he? And neither's Balad when he's been playing either, to be honest.
Only devil's advocate is that Fletcher has been in somewhat goal-scoring form, hasn't he? So if you're ever going to back...
hang on a minute, Tom. Relative goal-scoring form.
Yeah,
you need
I agree. I wouldn't have him anywhere near the starting lineup, but for the viewers at home who may be shouting at the monitors as we go through this, then yes, I have raised it. But yeah, I'll get him out of the side and get Balad in for me.
Andy? Tim?
Yeah,
to Ballard or not to Ballard? That is the question.
I spoke with Fletcher's dad for 5 minutes yesterday. I know him through cricket coaching, and he just that he'd lost his confidence completely at the start of the season, and he just didn't believe in himself. And he feels a lot better now. But I did worry that he was one of the three people I saw yesterday duck out of challenges, 50-50s that they really should stick the foot in, and that worried me a little bit.
Is there a however coming? Is there a however coming on?
No. I do see what Tom's saying, but like as a two, I like Ballard and Joseph better.
I think particularly away from home, where we're looking, we need a high press, and we need, and I think they've got the ability to do it. Both of them. We saw that earlier on in the season. We just need to. I think they both need a goal, don't they? They need a goal, and they need to put a smile back on the face a little bit. I think Joseph, with not scoring for a few games, is it's probably niggling away at him a little bit. But I think we with Apter and CJ and those two buzzing around, we should hopefully be able to get behind their defence and cause some damage.
So who are we going with then?
Well, I would
Who's your
say
vote?
Ballard on balance, yeah.
Andy?
Ballard.
Tom?
Balard. However, So I'm just thinking about this squad, and I will keep it brief because I know I'm on time. We've taken Pennington out the side, we've taken Fletcher out the side, and we've taken Coulson out, who's not the best in the air. But where I'm going with this is we've lost a few 6-footers there, haven't we? That's quite a short lineup if you look at it. There's only Evans who's got any kind of presence about him, as well as the 2 centre halves. So I do worry how we'd get on aerially at Wycombe with that sort of lineup. Morgan's is quite short, and then Apter and CJ don't do well in the air. So if you're going with the front 2 that can't compete for balls aerially, then you're kind of gambling, aren't you, on the balls over the top to run onto. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
Let's run it. Right, we'll leave it there. We're just over the hour. Okay, Nick's wrath. He's not here to point at his watch. Right, yeah, that's our team. Let's see how it goes. Tyra, Husband, Casey, Fire, Gabriel, CJ Hamilton, Evans, Morgan, Apter, and Joseph and Balad. Very quickly, match predictions. Tim.
2-0 win.
Andy.
1-0.
Tom.
0-0.
I'm going to go for 2-1 Blackpool. I think we're going to finally turn it around and
Hopefully.
turn the ship around. Right, Lawrence Mercedes, thanks for watching. Thanks for downloading. And up the pool. Come on, pool.
Come on,
Let's
the
get
pool.
this train back going.
Up the pool.
Up the pool.
Been involved in 2. Can he make 3? Not on this occasion. Well taken by Walsh. Davis is on the far side. Ainsko coming square. That's the ball. That's a good try.